Hello there, you're watching a special show on ET Now. It's the battle for the two states, and now laddus overflow at the Mumbai BJP office after Mahayuti crosses majority mark. I'm Priyanka Uppal. Joining this special conversation with me is Ankur Mishra. Ankur, clearly a moment for celebration for entire BJP. The Mahayuti alliance, actually, we must say. But then results are a little shocking for what has come in from Jharkhand.
Yes, more than shocking, it is surprising for even the parties, because if you see the bites which were coming in the morning, the expectation was that it may take maximum to 200. But the tally which is there in front of your screen, 221 for BJP plus in Maharashtra. But in Jharkhand, it has been Jharkhand Mukti Morcha Alliance, which is kind of a clean sweep, you will not say.
It's a landslide victory.
Yeah, it's a landslide victory because 82 seats, and out of that somebody is crossing more than 50. So comfortable majority there for JMM plus in Jharkhand.
Yes.
And in Maharashtra, it is BJP alliance all the way. All in all, it is looking like a no change kind of a verdict which has been given by the voters. No change in Maharashtra and no change in Jharkhand. But to understand this more, we have our on-ground reporters who has been keeping an eye what is happening in the party headquarters. Let's go across to Sumita first, because the action is now shifted to BJP headquarters.
Yes, Ankur. In fact, we can expect the Prime Minister and, of course, other senior leadership of the BJP to come right here at the BJP headquarters in New Delhi to address the Karyakartas, some of whom have gathered here. I'm going to go to them in just a bit. But let me show you first things first. There were jalebis being prepared this morning. Breakfast jalebis being prepared when the early leads started coming in. And if I show you on my right-hand side... Sir, idhar aaiye na. If I show you on my right-hand side, in fact, the lights have already started getting placed. So I think the party Karyakartas right here bracing for that big address this morning. Because remember, Ankur, it's been a rout, complete rout for the Congress party in Maharashtra. Of course, it was a fight for survival for so many of the other parties that are involved with the Congress party in that India alliance as well. But complete saffron wave has swept Maharashtra. Meanwhile, let me go to these Karyakartas who've gathered. Sir, आप ये EVM लेके आए हैं यहाँ पे, because remember Sanjay Raut apparently has been questioning EVMs. He's also been questioning the results that are coming out. Let's quickly get a word from
संजय राउत जी ने हार से बौखलाकर फिर एक बार ईवीएम का बहाना बना के ईवीएम को बदनाम किया है, और जब ये झारखंड में आगे चल रहे हैं तो वहाँ पे ईवीएम बदनाम नहीं हुई.
Exactly. So that's the big point of discussion that's going around in political circles as well. That you cannot really blame EVMs. You cannot really blame the processes that this country has, whichever places you're losing. But let me also give you some other updates. Well, BJP sources are also telling us that the Legislative Party meeting will be held on 25th in Maharashtra. Now, remember.
Sure. All right, Sumita, we come back to you. But then let's get you some glimpse from Maharashtra. BJP, outside the BJP headquarters is Aishwarya joining in. Aishwarya, certainly laddus which are overflowing there. A time for a celebration there. What is the sense that you're getting? Are there key leaders joining in? What time the key leaders expected to come in? Me? Okay, we'll come back to Aishwarya. In the meantime, what we've seen is, of course,
I'm currently outside the Rashtrawadi Congress Party office, and just as of now, everyone was actually dancing. The flag was being waved off. The NCP flag was being raised, and at this point, of course, all of them have been celebrating since morning, sloganeering and a whole lot of hailing of Ajit Pawar, who they are fondly calling as Ajit Dada Pawar. So a little bit, let me tell you about what NCP also said in its own region-specific manifesto. They promised to increase financial aid to women as well as farmers, create up to 25 lakh jobs. Specifically for the NCP constituency, he said he promised about 11 key points that he mentioned, of which farmers welfare was one of the key ones, and he promised Shetkari Sanman Nidhi from 12,000 to 15,000 rupees per year, combining support not only from the center but also from the state. He also has said that farm loan waivers he will be providing about 20% additionally from what are.
Yes, these are the numbers which needs a discussion on how the political landscape of Maharashtra and Jharkhand will shape up the verdict which has been given by the people of these two states. We have with us eminent panelists to discuss the same. Mr. Dilip Chowre is joining for the same, and we also have Mr. Madhavan Narayanan, senior journalist, and Aditi Fadnis is also joining us to discuss what is the meaning of this verdict, clear-cut verdict, which has been given by Maharashtra as well as Jharkhand. Aditi, I would want to come to you first. What does this clear-cut verdict, especially in Maharashtra, means for the people of state, and also the results will reflect on the policies of center as well?
Well, certainly. I think the biggest constituency that has been created by this election is women. I'm sorry to state the obvious, and I'm sure people have said this before, but the allowances that were given in both Maharashtra and Jharkhand to women, and the fact that the allowances were not just announced but actually delivered in the bank accounts of women below a certain income threshold, translates into almost on an average almost 8 to 10,000 rupees for families. Now for small families, particularly from lower income brackets, this is a very large sum of money, and the fact that it has actually been delivered and has actually been I mean, families are making use of it, means that their income goes up substantially, and also that in the future that this will be the parameter by which they will judge any government. So that's one. You saw an unprecedented turnout of women in Jharkhand in both the phases, as well as in Maharashtra. Almost 6 percentage points in Maharashtra more than before. So this itself is indication that what swung things in their favor. Interestingly, uh, going forward, the addition of money to be given to in women's bank accounts is, and other sort of freebies as they're called, will mean a significant stress on state finances, and that can only be made up by substantial investments in the states. We know that there has been a flight of capital from Maharashtra. We know that Jharkhand is seriously underleveraged as a state where manufacturing industry could come up. So both these things will have to be scrutinized by the new government which comes to power.
All right, that's Aditi who was joining in. Dilip and Narayan are also with us to talk on this entire political scenario, what has panned out, the kind of mandate that has come in from Maharashtra, as well as what has come in, what seems to be coming in from Jharkhand now. I go to Dilip now. Dilip, help us understand that what is the view that you're shaping in, how to take this, the mandate which has come in for state like Jharkhand also.
As far as Maharashtra is concerned, it was the battle between negative and positive. The ruling side was very cohesive and they conducted their campaigning hand in hand. On the other hand, the Congress, the Shiv Sena under Uddhav Thackeray, were never on the same page. And Mr. Sharad Pawar, the senior most leader Maharashtra has always respected, he was rather aloof from these two parties. That gave much dividend to the ruling BJP alliance, that is Mahayuti alliance. Another most important thing was the percentage of support from women. Women stood by this government, it seems, although final figures are not available, but women have stood by this government, and it is estimated right now that their support has gone up by at least 5%.
It is for the livelihood of the people. It is not just superficial schemes. So that also I have to enforce. And again, I am telling our Honorable Prime Minister has proved he is an incomparable leader, and it is the victory of our Honorable Prime Minister. And another thing, all the by-elections. By-elections also BJP, because UP, they were telling, no, BJP is not going to win, but among 9 seats, 7 seats are won by BJP.
Mr. Madhavan, I'll come to you, but before that, I want to do a quick poll with all the panelists. One of the debate which has been, if you would have seen the movie where Teja asked, Mark kidhar hai? So, symbols have changed since last elections. On one side, there are original symbols which has been touted to voters that the real Shiv Sena is here, the real NCP is here. But on the other side, all the new symbols were fighting. Do you think this has had some kind of impact in these elections in Maharashtra? One by one, if you can say just yes or no. First to Mr. Madhavan.
No, symbols haven't had a meaning. Yeah.
Aditi ji?
I don't think symbols have had a meaning.
Mr. Dilip, your view?
My view is that what matters is the leadership, not the image or the symbol.
So, okay, all the panelists are agreeing it is more of work which has been done by the government, the promises which has been given by the government, and the second fact is, of course, that general elections were also fought on the same kind of symbols. Fair point. Mr. Madhavan, what do you think about the promises which has been made to people? First, key takeaway is that Shinde is emerging as the key strategist and leader because 2.5 years he has ruled the state, he has made promises, and especially that Ladli Behna scheme which has definitely struck the chord with the audience.
Yeah. I think if you look at it, Ankur, it's clear as day. If Lok Sabha elections went too broadly to MVA, and right now Mahayuti has won under BJP, the key differentiator between these two elections are two factors. One is the personality of Eknath Shinde as an organizer, strategist, and orator. I could see the body language of Eknath Shinde throughout the campaign was one of a chief minister, not of some kind of tail that has been added to the BJP. So he has actually successfully inherited the political mantle of the late Bala Saheb Thackeray. This is a hard fact. The other fact that is very clear is the Ladki Behan scheme made a big difference, as my friend Aditi Fadnis elaborated very well. 8,000 rupees, that kind of money is a lot of money for poor voters. That also explains the increased turnout, because we have to infer that the more people turned up to vote the Mahayuti because of the fact that they were clearly showing the gains. Now, there are two relatively minor factors in this, which of course, one is the pro-Mahayuti view, the other is the anti-Mahayuti view. One is that the RSS went that extra mile through last mile campaigning, through grassroots workers to swing votes. And I would say that it's like a good product and a good distribution. If you have a scheme like Ladki Behan, and then you add some kind of national unity sauce to it, and then there are door-to-door campaigners for RSS, it really works. The negative view is that a lot of money has flowed into the elections since Lok Sabha to help, and tongues will wag because the Congress speaks of the Adani influence, and people like Ajit Pawar have a historical influence of having monetary clout. But that will be a bit of a loser's lament at this point. I think the victory margins are very clear in favor of Mahayuti. But the bottom line is that in fact, I like to joke that Congress has lost, but Congressism was won, because this entire Ladki Behan scheme has its origins in Karnataka with the Graha Lakshmi scheme. So what the BJP and its allies have done is to take a book from Congress and put its own cover onto it. And that is working because this is in addition to factors like a personality like Eknath Shinde and welfare schemes. So, but what remains to be seen, because the BJP has won about a significant majority on its own almost. So therefore, to that extent, Fadnavis will be propped up by BJP, and Ajit Pawar's own followers are saying that he should be CM. So I do expect some kind of Cold War between these three state leaders down the line, but don't expect it too soon. This is a moment for cheerful behavior. But of course, Fadnavis says it's a case of Modi hai to mumkin hai. I strongly disagree. This was not a Modi election at all. This was a Ladki Behan election.
There was a Ladki Behan welfare scheme that has actually worked in favor of BJP Mahayuti alliance. In fact, in Maharashtra, stay with us, Aditi. We have Dilip, Madhavan, but then we get some important key reaction also. Priyanka Chaturvedi, Rajya Sabha member. Let's get your reaction, what she has to say on this.
मैं बस यही कहूंगी कि बड़े हैरान करने वाले नतीजे आए हैं। जिस तरीके से लोकसभा में 151 असेंबलीज पे हमारी लीड थी, वो सिमट कर अगर इस नंबर पे आ गई है, तो एक प्रश्न चिन्ह जरूर उठता है कि कैसे इतना डिफरेंस आ गया। जो भी सर्वेज चल रहे थे सब कांटे की टक्कर बता रहे थे। जो भी सर्वेज हो रहे थे उसमें महाविकास आघाड़ी को बढ़त दे रहे थे। बात सब बता रहे थे एज है। एक कांटे की टक्कर इस तरीके से हो जाना कहीं ना कहीं थोड़ा आश्चर्यजनक भी है, सवालों के घेरे में भी आता है, और मन में मैं एक सेंस ऑफ सरप्राइज है कि जो हम जनता के बीच में देख रहे थे, महिलाओं के साथ देख रहे थे, पुरुषों के साथ देख रहे थे, आक्रोश जो था, 1500 रुपए मिलने के बाद भी वो महिलाएं बता रही थी कि हम पे एहसान नहीं कर रहे हैं जिस तरीके से प्रचार कर रहे हैं। क्लियरली अगर आप जैसे बार बार मन में एक शंका होती है कि जो पहली बार नहीं उठ रहा है, बार बार उठता जा रहा है, कि क्या ईवीएम पे भी व्यापक चर्चा होनी चाहिए, स्टेक होल्डर से बात करनी चाहिए। इलेक्शन कमीशन उसको सीधे सीधे खारिज कर देता है, रादर देन विनिंग ओवर द कॉन्फिडेंस ऑफ द पीपल। कितनी महाराष्ट्र में कितनी जगहों पर मैं गई थी जहां पे वहां पे लोग आकर हमसे कहते थे वोट तो हम आपको देंगे ही, पर आप ईवीएम पर ध्यान दीजिएगा। सबने हमसे यही आकर कहते थे। तो ये क्योंकि इतना चेंज आया है फ्रॉम लोकसभा टू महाराष्ट्र का ये विधानसभा चुनाव, हैरान करने वाला है। और इस पे मैं मानती हूँ कि इवन फॉर मी मेंटली इट्स क्वाइट अनएक्सेप्टेबल कि इतना हमने आक्रोश देखकर भी वोट में कन्वर्ट नहीं हुआ, इस तरीके के नतीजे आए हैं। एक प्रश्न चिन्ह उठाता है कि क्या ये सही मायने में फ्री एंड फेयर इलेक्शन था।
So Priyanka Chaturvedi clearly raising some questions on not just the exit polls, even on EVM. But then let's get back to the conversation. We have it with Dilip, Madhavan, and Aditi joining in this conversation. Dilip, coming on to you now. Since we've spoken about Eknath Shinde's role, there are also talks about Uddhav's role also, that he's failed to claim Bala Sahib's legacy, and in fact, he's played a very key role in strengthening the entire party. He's worked to strengthen Shiv Sena. He's tried to streamline the organizational network. But then a different view coming in from a lot of political observers also, which say that maybe he lacked a robust team.
See, I have covered at least last 15 elections in Maharashtra. It is always obvious that what the Shiv Sena is claiming, or what Priyanka Chaturvedi is claiming, it is not a fact. You will all observe that whenever they lose an election, they blame the EVM. But take any state, and if they take Maharashtra or Jharkhand for example, they will talk about the seats which they have lost, but they never talk about the seats which they have won under the same EVM. So I think there is no force in their claim that EVMs are engineered, or there is some trick in the victory of the ruling side. Another thing is that the campaigning this time on behalf of the Mahayuti, that is the BJP, Shinde, Shiv Sena, and Ajit Pawar. It was a
right. We'll come back to you because this is a discussion which needs more clarity. And another important factor in Maharashtra has been Ajit Pawar, who has been Deputy CM when Mahavikas Aghadi was there, who has been Deputy CM when the incumbent government of Mahayuti was there. Now, what will be his role? Because we have seen his wife coming and saying that he is a contender for CM race. Aditi, do you think it will be a problem of dealing the question that who will be the next CM of Maharashtra?
Well, in our minds, definitely there is a problem, because the Ladki Bahin scheme was unrolled or rolled out by the current chief minister, but it is the Bharatiya Janata Party which has fought the largest number of seats and therefore has won.
Right,
Mr.
we have
Devendra
lost.
Fadnavis.
Right, Aditi, if you can hear us, there was some problem with the connection. I'll once again ask the question: is there a problem of CM faces, because there are many?
There are many. The BJP contested the largest number of seats, and so it will want to lay claim on the chief ministership because it has won the largest number of seats. Shiv Sena says that Shinde rolled out the Ladki Bahin scheme, which was the most important element in the election, and therefore he should be made the chief minister. And Ajit Pawar says that I got up and left the cabinet when you were all discussing how to spend money. So I am the most prudent of all of you, and therefore I should be made chief minister. Now, who it will be has to be decided very quickly because the swearing in has to take place day after tomorrow, which is when the tenure of the current assembly comes to an end.
In fact, Maharashtra CM came and gave few comments also who will be the next CM. He said that they will sit together and decide. We'll play that bite. But before that, Mr. Madhavan, I would want to come to you. A very pertinent question here remains that what is the problem? What is the fact that opposition is not able to solve? Because we saw in general election, it was seen that they have consolidated, they have acted together. In fact, the results were there in their favor. But what has not worked this time, according to you?
I think it's very clear. You saw Priyanka Chaturvedi. I was using the word akrosh. The word akrosh is a giveaway because she thought there was anger among the people. There was no anger. That's as simple as that. It is not an anti-incumbency mood at all. It's all about competitive populism. And there was a certain, I would not even say anti-incumbency move. During the Lok Sabha elections, there was a certain restlessness and the benefit of the doubt came to the Mahavikas Aghadi. Now, the Ladki Bahin scheme and Eknath Shinde as a personality have altered the equation and that wasn't responded to. And one important point which it's been completely missed in the narrative is that the Dalits of Maharashtra, who are very important, feel very uncomfortable with Congress, which is why you have an entity called the Vanchit Bahujan Aghadi. So you have, apart from a split in the traditional NCP votes because of the Pawar family split, there is a clear, you cannot be taking a left turn and ignoring a significant chunk of Dalits out of the thing. So this was, Prakash Ambedkar, the grandson of Baba Sahib Ambedkar, said as much that he will decide later. There was a sort of mistrust or a trust deficit between the so-called social left and the Congress. So because the Congress has historically been an establishmentarian party, it is trying to take a left turn, but it has not succeeded. And for Uddhav Thackeray, it's an even bigger left turn. And this whole talk about Maharashtra versus Gujarat is way too abstract for the ordinary voters to understand. This vacuum has been successfully exploited by a campaign machinery in which Eknath Shinde and Ajit Pawar's what you would call political chutzpah and the RSS grassroots network, everything has played a role. And above all, I feel that the average Indian voter typically has a sixth sense to vote towards stability, and they thought that the higher chances of stability lay towards the Mahayuti. This is my take.
Right, absolutely. We stay for a short break here. Gentlemen and lady, please be with us. But we leave you with a key reaction which came in from Eknath Shinde, who's the CM from Maharashtra, when he, of course, he boosted about the confidence and talking about the celebration. Just a couple of minutes back this came in. We stay for a break, we come back, we continue the conversation.
लँडस्लाइड विक्टरी अशा प्रकारचा विजय या ठिकाणी महायुतीला मिळालेला आहे. मी त्याबद्दल तमाम मतदारांचे महाराष्ट्रातल्या मनापासून अभिनंदन करतो आणि माझ्या लाडक्या बहिणी यांचं देखील मनापासून अभिनंदन करतो. लाडक्या बहिणींनी मोठ्या प्रमाणावर मतदान केलं, लाडक्या भावांनी मतदान केलं, लाडक्या शेतकऱ्यांनी मतदान केलं. जे काम आम्ही केलं 2.5 वर्षामध्ये त्याचं मोजमाप, नोंद आणि त्याची कामाची पोचपावती या महाराष्ट्रातल्या जनतेने आम्हाला दिलेली आहे.
Welcome back. You're watching the special coverage Battle for the States on ET Now, and we have a special panel to talk on the election outcome. But then in the meantime, more political reactions which have come in. Vinod Tavade, BJP leader, speaks to us. Let's get you that reaction also.
महाराष्ट्र में मतदाताओं ने जो भाजपा महायुति को जबरदस्त जीत दिलाई है, माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में एकनाथ जी शिंदे, देवेंद्र जी फडणवीस और अजित दादा पवार, रामदास आठवले आरपीआई के इन सब ने मिलकर जो चुनाव अच्छी तरह लड़ा, जो सरकार अच्छी तरह चलाई, विशेषकर मुझे लगता है कि प्रत्यक्ष लाभ की राजनीति और अप्रत्यक्ष लाभ की राजनीति होती है. अप्रत्यक्ष लाभ की राजनीति में जो पायाभूत सुविधा होती है, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट होती है, वंदे भारत ट्रेन होती है, मेट्रो होती है, सड़क होती है, पानी होता है, और प्रत्यक्ष लाभ में लाडली बहना होती है, किसान सम्मान होता है, जीरो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल का विषय होता है. इसका एक बहुत सुरेख मिलाप एकनाथ जी शिंदे, देवेंद्र जी और अजित दादा ने किया, और इसलिए जनता ने पूरा भरोसा रखा.
All right, so we heard Vinod Tavare, the way he was counting on the achievements, especially the welfare schemes, along with that, the infrastructure development and the, the agricultural distress that has also played weight heavily on the opposition party also. But there is one, Aditi, we would like to understand one more view from you. The BJP's development, that is one area. But then the other was also the unity plank, or you could call it like the split between the two Shiv Sena, between the two factions of the Shiv Sena, which were pitting against each other. There is when you call it the decisive battle happened.
Well, it was not just the Shiv Sena, it was also the NCP, which also found itself split. It is also the in a sense the BJP, which is not split in a very visible way, but there are differences of opinion. There were also differences of opinion between Shinde and Devendra Fadnavis. We know this because for many days Devendra Fadnavis did not go to office, he worked from home, and etc. etc. So frankly, the institutional splits between the parties appear to have affected the election less than was previously thought. Originally, it was thought that people did not vote for parties, they voted for individual candidates. But if that had been the case, you would have had a very different kind of a result, which would have been what we call khichdi mixture. This result is absolutely unarguably in one direction, and it is a very decisive verdict. So I think people have voted for policies and parties rather than for people who have represented them in the past or are going to represent them in the future.
Right, fair point. Let me throw a few numbers to our viewers. As far as the share of parties is concerned, Election Commission website says that BJP has garnered 25.47% share, NCP has garnered 10.41% share and 12.57% share for Shiv Sena. Overall, if we do the just basic maths, it comes out around 49% vote share for the alliance of BJP and its allies. Now the question is that one of the pitches which were made by opposition was caste census. Is it clear that caste census pitch has failed to resonate with the voters? I want to understand from you, Mr. Dilip.
Yes. This time it is a sweep like we had in 1972. That is one party or one side, let us say one side in this case, one side getting 222 seats out of 288. It's a sweep, nothing else. And the main reason for this is that the BJP, the Shiv Sena of Eknath Shinde and Ajit Pawar, they all had one fact in common, that their campaigning was positive. On the other hand, the Congress, the Shiv Sena of Uddhav Thackeray and Sharad Pawar's NCP, in their entire campaign was negative. So, in my view, this has made a lot of difference. Another thing is that the Eknath Shinde government in last 2.5 years, they have implemented almost every promise they have made. On the other hand, the opposition has never made any constructive criticism. They have always stood on one narrative, and that is that all elections are rigged. You can see even in this election that they are blaming the EVMs. When their candidates or their side or their party wins, EVMs are okay. But when the other side wins or when they lose, they blame the EVMs. So, in my view, the campaigning of the ruling side was quite positive, and the campaigning on the other side was quite negative, and this has made a lot of difference. And this difference is drastic because as I said earlier, it is after 1972 that such huge polarization has taken place in Maharashtra.
Right, absolutely. In fact, questions on EVM looks like it's a regular practice post the election outcomes we've seen in past also. But then let's also understand the economic implication of BJP alliance winning Maharashtra. Now Maharashtra, because of course we will have to understand that Maharashtra contributes the maximum in India's overall GDP. And now this clear win indicates a political continuity, it indicates a policy and reform continuity, which is itself is a great booster for economic reforms, even for foreigners to understand that. Coming on to you, Narayan, because, you know, just to put down some facts, we have 14% of the India's overall GDP, Maharashtra as a state. 30% of the FDI has come into Maharashtra, and talking about as a manufacturing aspect also. You talk about the key industries like auto or auto component, pharma, medical device. They've got a sizable share here. In that aspect also, from an economic aspect also, it's a big boost, a big morale booster also for the foreign funds to come in.
That basically political stability is always good for foreign investors, but I don't think foreign investors would have been significantly affected by any victory or defeat in this, because all parties, even Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray was talking about industrial growth of Maharashtra as a key driver for his own party, and therefore Congress was always pro-industry in any way. So the real issues are fiscal prudence. You know, if Ladki Behan scheme results in a lot of fiscal burden in Maharashtra, and that casts a negative impression, that could be one thing. The other thing is that I expect Eknath Shinde to become chief minister again, because the BJP would lose face if they suddenly dump him right now. But slowly there might be disagreements over a period of time which will affect political stability. And Ajit Pawar may feel very lonely because the whole game is shifting between BJP and Eknath Shinde. So that is something Aditi Fadnis hinted towards that. He had already made his point that he's got his own issues. So therefore, I expect that to be a significant impact on the economic climate, because otherwise no one is anti-industry right now in Maharashtra. No one significant is going to do anything that will affect investor mood. But in general, the business community likes to favor a BJP kind of, a combination of infrastructure spending and a certain amount of, I would say, economic clout, from a slightly right of center perspective. That is going to be a positive for them.
Right. One of the fact which was prevailing in Maharashtra was 2 lakh crore fiscal deficit after being a fiscal surplus earlier. Now, the kind of softs which has been promised to voters, will it add burden for voters? Will it mean that more taxes in the state? Or do you think the kind of announcement have been made, it will boost consumption? What is your take, Aditi, on this?
Well, I think the biggest thing is Maharashtra desperately needs growth. In order to achieve growth, you need to have policies which are growth friendly. You need to have, you need to bring down the cost of doing business in India. And I'm not saying this. A survey of German industries, a survey of Swedish industries, which came out in July this year, says clearly that it is very difficult to do business in Maharashtra because of the rent seeking that goes on there. Many of the companies off the record say that they are not looking at Maharashtra as a possible source or place where they want to expand. There has simultaneously been a indubitable flight of capital from Maharashtra into other states, including Gujarat. So, frankly, you need to have, and this has to do with stability only marginally. I think it has to do with basic policies and a basic uh, vision for what Maharashtra needs to be. Let us not forget that Maharashtra was one of the most industrialized, one of the most progressive states in India not so long ago. What has caused it to regress like this? Part of it is political instability, but that's not the whole picture. I think we need to have a more gifted and a more thoughtful leadership, which which decides in which direction it is to go.
As these are just trends and results are yet to be announced, this discussion will continue. It's a time for a very short break. We will come back.
वोट जिहाद के विरुद्ध धर्म युद्ध का विजय, लोगों ने लैंड जिहाद, लव जिहाद, वोट जिहाद को तमाचा मारा। मोदी जी के एक है तो सेफ है, साथ में जिस प्रकार से उद्धव ठाकरे सेना ने कोविड का भ्रष्टाचार किया था उसको भी सबक सिखाया है। उद्धव ठाकरे सेना ने 2019 में महाराष्ट्र की जनता का विश्वासघात किया। लोगों ने उद्धव ठाकरे सेना को विसर्जित करने का आदेश दिया।
Indian markets are going to be taking a booster shot.
Hi, good morning. You're watching the market right here on ET now.
Indian markets are at an all-time high. You would really pinch yourself to say, isn't this all factors align wonderfully well for us?
Nifty is now up a staggering 2,000 points. That impacts the market like.
I want to understand as far as the Rahul Gandhi strategies are concerned. He will have to once again sit and redraw the strategies?
Of course, because if you compare the two important leaders of India, Narendra Modi and Rahul Gandhi, you will find that Narendra Modi thinks of politics 24/7. Rahul Gandhi's seriousness about politics is always doubtful, because we have seen that on many important occasions, many crucial occasions, he has been abroad. There is no consistency in what he says, what he does. Another thing is that most of his campaigning is always full of negativity. He doesn't show you any hope. He always makes allegations, he always makes charges, but he doesn't show you the way forward. I think the Congress party needs a serious course correction. Otherwise, what you have seen in Maharashtra can be replicated in other parts of India also.
Right, absolutely. But with this, this brings to an important question. Ankur, it's not just that. Now what lies ahead for BJP lies ahead is Delhi, Bihar. Delhi coming in February, right, and Bihar coming in October. Now, is that what, Dilip? We can look at it in a direction that maybe this has given a sentimental boost to BJP for winning these two key states also. The preparations have already started.
Of course, it started with the victory in Haryana, because in Haryana we saw that initial trends were against the BJP, but subsequently it was the BJP which won the election. In Maharashtra, the sweep is unbelievable and unprecedented. Nobody expected, even BJP leaders expected that they will cross 160, but they have done it comfortably. I think credit goes to the BJP, but similarly, the blame goes to the opposition, because in the opposition campaigning, there was not a shred of positive thinking. It was always allegations, allegations, and blisters. There was no hope. There was no solid agenda for the progress of Maharashtra. It was always, unresponsive campaigning, and it was not cohesive campaigning as well, because all three parties, that is the Congress, the NCP of Sharad Pawar, and the Shiv Sena of Uddhav Thackeray, they went their own ways except for holding a few joint meetings in Mumbai and other parts of Maharashtra. So the picture presented by the BJP and the Saffron Alliance was very solid, and it was very fragmented on the other side. So my expectation was about 150 seats for the BJP and friends, but I must admit that they have gone much ahead, and the opposition has suffered very badly. They will have to repair themselves in as early as possible.
Yes, definitely. BJP and alliance have not only surprised others but to themselves as well, as per the reactions which were coming in the morning.